Hi everybody, and welcome to a video that I'm really excited to share with you. Today I want to go through how I made one of the songs that I'm most proud of making, perhaps ever, and I just want to share it with anyone who might find it useful, or perhaps entertaining. It's also a great opportunity to show you how I use my MPC X as the brains of my whole operation, and how I record my synths into this and chop up samples to make this into my DAW-less DAW, so to speak, if that makes any sense. The only thing that I did later in Ableton were the vocals, which I'll share at the end of the video. So very quickly, this whole track started out because Argentiero recently updated their Polybrute to version 3.0. I was trying out some of the new presets, and I gotta say, these guys, after the years they've had developing the Polybrute, it's really come into its own. This is one of the patches that came in bundled with the 3.0 firmware, and what I really love about it is that it has these little glitches that go off. Very reminiscent of what I like about the Chase Bliss audio kind of effects. And that's it, that's the core of my idea. So I recorded that chord progression and melody into the MPC X, and then I went into one of the stock drum programs. Since I've been listening to a lot of Billie Eilish lately, I love this. I don't know, it's kind of like an organic snap, or it's not really a snare. And the kick has like a splash to it. I don't know, I just kind of really got into that kind of sound. So the first verse goes like this. I can almost taste your skin. And this lets me lay down a very soft vocal at the beginning. One of the most important things that I've learned over the years is that every loop should have some sort of change. Now you can either add stuff in there or take stuff out. It can either be like a little change in the instruments you're doing, a few, audio candies here or there. Audio candies? Ear candy, I believe it's the expression. Textures or whatever to keep the interest going. So the second verse introduces a guitar melody. My guitar signal was the Simplifier MK2, which is a very cool pedal, which is basically an amp and cabinet simulator. And it's all analog. So I put that through the Empress Reverb and the hologram, and I got this little flavor right here. And then I added Air Delay Pro and Air Flavor Pro. And now it has that very nice lo-fi grit to it. And a little trick for the uninitiated, it's very common to pan one guitar on the left and another guitar on the right. And you get this effect, a very open stereo field. To my taste, the top tier MPC plugins are Jura, Air Flavor Pro, and Air Delay Pro. No questions asked. Those are my must-haves right now. So far we're keeping it really minimal. We don't have a bass yet, and I just introduced this new guitar element into the mix. So now I'm 2 verses in, and I want to go into the bridge. So to give this kind of a very obvious shift in the feel of this, I'm going to take away the guitar element, and I'm going to introduce the potency of a beautiful sub bass on the Subsequent 37, and listen for the change in the frequencies, because now we have lots of highs and mids, but listen to that change in the feel when the bass comes growling in. Here goes. And you can hear that sprinkle of keys going around. The bridge has 2 sections, and in the second section I'm going to build it up more. So here we go. Guess who's doing that massive and beautiful synth sound? It's not the Polybrute, and it's not the Sub 37 either. One of my favorite new synths, and it's gonna sound like a commercial, the Jura, once again, as the kids say, coming in clutch. I needed something, that gave it this massive feeling, like this is building up towards something. And I went to the Jura because I've really been enjoying it. And just listen to how beautiful this sounds with just a few notes sprinkled in. I mean, come on. You might hear that there's a little violin in there. The magic of the MPC. we have this sample. I'm going to go to 16 levels to tune. And here we go. That's what you hear in there. It's just this one sample, slightly tweaked, with 16 levels. That literally took me seconds. What I really love about using samples for this and not an actual violin plugin is that it has that bit of distortion that it's not so clean. And also, I love that it cuts it out. Yeah, maybe I could just do that making the plugin monophonic, but there's this kind of magic using samples that cut each other off. It's just that old-timey feel. Okay, so I've been building up all this tension, and now it's time for the release, for the star of the show, the chorus to arrive, right? Now, what's curious is that I was using a guitar with a very cool distortion effect, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna just, strum this thing in and make it into a big kind of rock banger, I don't know. And I came up with this. Okay, aside from me not being able to play the guitar very well, which admittedly I can't, the aesthetic just didn't feel appropriate. And I think that that's a very important side note here. The aesthetic, the tone, the language that you're using, and the instruments that you're using in your song will dictate how coherent this thing is. And this feels like it's from something else. So I went back a step and I'm, okay, that guitar just sounds way out of place. So what can we do about it? And what I came up with was this. Took away the guitar. I'm still using the Jura, but another central part of the chorus helping it reach that high intensity is I'm using the Mellotron violins through the Air Delay Pro. And without the Air Delay Pro, this sounds like this. It's already pretty cool. But now, it gives these little feedbacks and fusions and just... I'm not a huge fan of these strings in particular. There are way better plugins, but I've said this lots of times before. When it's in a mix, what I really need is just the feeling of it or the idea of it. I don't need it to be the best plugin ever. And if it's really, really very bad, I can always replace it with something else in MIDI in my DAW. But it works perfectly here. One man's low quality is another man's lo-fi, so this works great for what I needed. Okay, so everything's well and good, but I want to keep building up the energy of this chorus, and I really wanted to use that guitar element. So what I did was I grabbed my recording and I sliced it up, which is one of the things I really love about having the MPC is that it's just everything here at your disposal. I know that other machines do similar things. This just makes sense to me. So what I did was I just chopped up my sample, and what I ended up with was this. What about in the mix? Now, for those of you who might have heard, there's another element that gives it more gravitas, I guess you could say, and that is that siren. All I'm doing here is I grab that siren and I 16 leveled it again. There you go. I think that one of the coolest things is just grabbing stock samples, grabbing the 16 levels, and seeing if you can make it fit inside your mix. And sometimes the results are great. And here it actually kind of saved my chorus, because if not, it wouldn't have that agency to it. Listen to this thing. I dare say it kind of goes a bit Hans Zimmer-y, which I love. It's only when I reach the chorus then I start getting a little bit more busy with the drums. This repeat pattern gets very stale if you don't do anything to it, and that's why I added some velocity curves to it. So they're always ascending and going back down, ascending, going back down, and that gives it a bit of a more humanized feel. Okay, so now we have two verses, a bridge, and a chorus. Very cool. But if you're like me, one of the biggest problems I have with reaching that stage is, okay, what now? I still have like at least half the song left. What am I supposed to do? And lots of times I just leave it there. Like I get to this chorus and okay, that's it. That's all. That's all I have, and I'll just end it, which is very, very lazy. But this time, I felt that this idea was good enough to keep on going. So the first thing that I needed was some kind of a break between the chorus to get back to my verse, because it kind of felt very disjointed to just jump from the chorus back into the verse. As we said before, the idea is to keep on building. So after all the excitement of the chorus, what I needed was a way to segue back into the verses. So I made this little guitar intermission, which serves as a very nice palate cleanser. And then we go straight back into the verses. We're gonna do 2 rounds of this, 2 loops. And then I'm gonna go into the final bridge. Now this bridge is a bit different from the last time because as in the last time we started adding stuff, here I'm gonna start with the complete bridge, so to speak. First half. And then the second half, I'm gonna take everything away. Just leave you with the bass. Build that tension. And then slowly kick. And directly into the full-on chorus. And then just let it rip. So after making all of these loops, I went to song mode, and that's where you sequence these in an order to make the entire song. After making it into a song, I just exported this into Ableton, and then I started adding the vocals, which the end product I'll show you at the end of this video. And that's it. That's how I made my favorite song so far. Now you might be asking yourself, why didn't I do the vocals directly on the MPC? And there's 2 reasons for that. First of all is that when you're using this in standalone mode, you only get 8 tracks of audio. And I pretty much exclusively use this as a standalone unit. The other reason is because you don't get audio comping, which is basically in most DAWs, you can make lots of tracks, lots of takes of the same vocal, and then you can chop these up pretty easily and mesh them into one track where you get just the best bits of each take. You can't do that here. And if you were to do that, you would only be limited to 8 audio tracks. So I'm not really sure if it's something that I really want in this, because Ableton does it pretty well and Logic does it extremely well. So after adding the vocals, voila.
I can almost taste your skin, your lips so close to mine. Every time you touch me, sends lightning down my spine. All I wanted was you. All I wanted was you. I can't stay here for you. Just one last thing to do. Turn around and walk away from me. 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 Oh, now is there still some truth in me? Lost between the lies. You and I were meant to be in some other place and time. All I wanted was you. All I wanted was you. Turn around and walk away from me. Turn around and walk away from me. Turn around and walk away around and walk away with me. Turn around and walk
I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was useful to you. And please let me know if you'd like to see more of these breakdowns, because I really love sharing my music and my thought process throughout all this, and who knows, maybe somebody out there can benefit from it. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining me today, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.